I built a rental car system without owning a single car. We genuinely have 52 cars in our fleet right now. I would never, ever believe the day would come where I can actually say I have 52 cars on my Turo account. And it's like to scale to this amount of cars, most people think that you genuinely need like 20 to 50K down, a bunch of car notes, a bunch of like payment plans and all this type of shit. Or you basically need like 200, 300K to just go buy a bunch of cash cars, right? And it's like the way I was able to scale up to 52 cars in our fleet is by a method called OPC method, which is other people's cars, right? So once you create these systems, you can create like a full-on win-win scenario between you and a person who is trying to make passive income. And then you basically can have more cars in your fleet and then scale up more without even purchasing another vehicle for your fleet, right? I've done this so many times that it genuinely helped me in so many ways where I'm so excited to talk about it that I decided that I'm definitely going to create like a YouTube channel where I'm going to show people the exact method, because I speak to Turo hosts all the time. I speak to people with car rental companies. I speak to people with all these different things that they have going on with cars, and the way how I onboard people, the way how I onboard new clients that I'm working with them, that they're basically giving me their cars and I'm managing their cars for them, is because I create such a comfort system where once you give me a car, you really don't have to worry about it. Like you have updates on trackers, you have update on your car, you have update on the financial side of it. And I've done this so many times that I've now just became the authority figure in this space, like in my area, right? So in my niche or my market is the place that I basically am renting my cars of here. And most people, they find me and they just realize that I'm offering the service, because many people here, they want to rent their cars and they want to make the money from the rental of their car, because there's a lot of people here, especially in my market right now, they have second homes, stuff like that, and they would have like a second car in the market, like just in their driveway or something, right? And the best thing to do is approaching these people, or just do things so that they can approach you in terms of letting you rent their cars out, right? So at the first, I used to have just 2 cars that I was renting on the platform. And then I was approached by someone that basically was on the same platform, and they just said that they saw that I have 2 cars on the platform, if I can manage their car for them, right? I didn't really think about it as much at the time, but as soon as it's like I realized that this method actually works more than my car, right? So say for instance, my car would make at least 15 to 20K for an entire year, and I would spend at least 7K on out of that 20K just back on repairs, back on insurance, and just maintaining the car overall, right? This person, even though I would make the same 20K on his car, I would only make about 7 to 8K on that, but that entire thing was mine. That was the manager's fee. So that payment plan that I have, the split that we came up with, I think it was about 60-40 split, that he takes 60% and I take 40%. And I was making a lot of money on his car without owning the car, right? So seeing that that's a method that actually worked, I literally decided to just double down on this method and then just repeat the process over and over again, to a point where I now have it systemized, where I have a system of how I onboard new people, of how I get people to send me cars, and the exact scripts that I basically use to convince a person to just do it over and over again. Because once it started happening to me like 3 or 4 times, I started to document the things that they asked me, right? I started to document the questions that they asked. I started to document the concerns that they needed, or the things that they were having a problem with that they needed to talk to me about, right? So in this entire system flow, I started to just put together an exact step-by-step way of what I would say to someone that basically want to give me their cars, right? And just being able to answer their questions before they even have the question is actually solid, right? Because that's one of the reasons why I started to even do insurance. So now I'm doing PNC insurance. And because one of the main things that people ask you whenever they send you their car is like, what happens whenever the car gets into an accident? Or they ask some questions like this, right? And the main thing to do is to just have the answers for these people. And what I realized is the more I can have answers, the more I can basically provide value to let them feel comfortable, is the more this person is just gonna feel at ease giving me their car, right? Because at the same time, even though I have these business right now. Like, so in our fleet, we have 52 cars in our fleet, and I currently only own about 4 of these cars, right? And I drive one of those cars, bro. So it's technically like 3 of those cars that we actually own ourselves. So when I basically scaled up to this number of cars, it's just how many relationships do you think I have to develop in order to do this, right? So just repeating that process over and over again and actually meeting other people who do the same management process, I just realized that this is like a full-on thing where you just don't have to buy cars anymore. So once I realized that you don't have to buy cars anymore, and you really can buy cars, me personally, I just stopped buying cars because I realized that this method is better, right? Because at the same time, I used to have at least 12 cars at a time just in my name. And I realized that having so many cars in your name, it's not only you pay for all these damages, not only you pay for all these repairs and stuff like that. Say for instance, you have a bunch of car notes and car loans and stuff like that. That's like not good for your credit, you understand? And then say for instance, to use all that same money buy a bunch of cash cars, you're still out the cash itself, right? So I don't have anything against buying cars, because technically, like, I do resell cars a lot. So I still buy cars here and there, but it's not my main thing when it comes on to doing Turo or just doing rental cars overall, because I realize that I just don't have to buy the cars and I can create win-win scenarios. And the best thing that I actually like is because I live in like a seasonal area. So what really happens is after my season is ended, I'm not stuck with just a bunch of cars just sitting down. I can like send them to another market and just have somebody else manage those cars until my season basically start again, right? So doing that back and forth over and over, I just realized that it makes the most sense to just continue doing the OPC method and just basically onboarding more people and helping them cash flow so much until the next season starts, right? But I have a full step-by-step way of how I actually talk to these people. I have a way of how to identify people who would send you a car, and I have all these different methods that I have no problem sharing, right? But in my next video, what I'll do is I'll show you the exact script that I actually use to talk to these people, right? And the exact things that I would say in order to just communicate with these people and how to convince them to basically let me manage their cars. Because sometimes people want to do it, but because they're unsure of what happens when things go wrong, then you technically just lose that person if you don't know exactly what to say. Right, so in my next video, I'll show you exactly how I talk to these people, and I'll just read exactly what I would say to a person who is very interested in sending me a car, right? So thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.